Public health officials in at least 2/3 of states are sharing the addresses of people who test positive for the coronavirus with first responders.
And in North Dakota, patients' names and dates of birth are shared too. Renee Cooper sat down with the Department of Health
to find out if and how they're assuring private health information is being kept secure in tonight's top story.
The North Dakota Department of Health's chief operating officer says this all began at the end of April.
It came from a request from the first responder community. They wanted more information and more transparency in terms of the situations they may be entering so they could prepare better.
Couldn't officers just be extra cautious around everybody?
Yeah, I mean, that would be our guidance, honestly, is there's a risk everywhere you go, but information is a form of protection, and we want to be as transparent as possible while protecting privacy. But then, two, we do have a state health officer order about positive cases and quarantine. If we're asking local law enforcement to enforce that, they need to know the names of who they would be enforcing.
Given the contagious nature of the virus, Wilkie says sharing this information is HIPAA compliant and 100% legal.
We make lots of contacts within the community. We're in lots of residences, and we don't want to be the ones that spread it around.
Wilkie says the information available to first responders like the Bismarck Police Department is updated daily by the Department of Health. For those who have recovered, their information is then deleted and new cases may be added. And first responders never have access to the list, just the dispatchers.
It's all controlled by Central Dakota Communications. Even as an administrator here, I don't even have access to a database to go look.
What's being done to kind of make sure that those first responders aren't passing that information along further, that it's not getting spread? Is there any sort of punishment if that happens?
Actually, yeah, there is. We did, because the information is so sensitive, we did draft what's known as non-disclosure agreements, and anybody who violates those non-disclosure agreements are subject to penalty up to a Class C felony.
Deputy Chief Stugelmeyer says it would also violate law enforcement policy under the oath of privacy taken when you're sworn in as an officer. Reporting for KX News in Bismarck, Renee Cooper.
We asked Wilkie and the Bismarck deputy chief if the sharing of information could have an effect on officers responding to certain calls. They both assured us that first responders sign up to put themselves in potentially risky situations every day and have not seen this to be an issue.
KX News is tracking